Soulmates, we have plenty to talk about today, Tuesday, November 15th. Welcome to Fox Soul's Black Report. I'm Courtney Hicks.
And I'm Nicordelai Corte. Thank you for inviting us into your homes and on all of your devices. Each day, we are honored to stand right here behind this desk to take you on a journey across Black America.
That's right. We bring you our views, our news, and our voice. Topping our news today, it's all about online donations that are pouring in for one of the three University of Virginia football players killed Sunday night during an on-campus shooting that left others dead. A GoFundMe account for Lavelle Tyler Davis Jr., who played wide receiver for the UVA Cavaliers, was created just hours after he and two other football players were killed. It was started by a friend of the family who had nothing but glowing words for the young collegiate athlete. The GoFundMe set up to benefit Davis's family has raised nearly $17,000 of its $20,000 goal. Meanwhile, the University of Virginia canceled classes again today as it continues to work through Sunday's shooting, as a visual is scheduled for tonight for those players as well. 3 football players were shot and killed, ones you see here, as they returned on a team bus from a trip, and the man charged in their death is a former teammate, Christopher Darnell Jones Jr. He was arrested off campus after an hours-long manhunt. He faces charges of second-degree murder. Police yet have a motive for this attack.
Just north of Virginia, police in Prince George's County, Maryland, are searching for suspects in connection with the fatal shooting of a 13-year-old who was doing chores outside of his family home. 8th grader Jays Agnew was shot in the head while raking leaves in front of his house in the Hillcrest Heights area, according to the Washington Post. He was transported to a local hospital in critical condition, where he later died of his injuries. Now, his mother, Juanita Agnew, told police that Jay-Z's father found him injured on the ground after hearing the gunshots. Now, the family started a GoFundMe for help with legal and investigative expenses. She told the Post that her son, a video game player and aspiring emergency room doctor, try saying that without a tear, he was obedient and didn't act in a manner that would cause anyone to be angry at him. Police are offering a reward of up to $25,000 in the case for information that leads to an arrest and an indictment.
Just a terrible story. All right, a New Jersey Republican is in hot water after police say he called officers on a 9-year-old girl. Reports say Bobby Wilson was playing outside her New Jersey home, spraying a homemade solution on lantern flies in hopes of catching just a few. That's when her Republican neighbor, Gordon Lachey, called the cops. Wilson, who is in the 4th grade, says she learned from teachers that a mixture of apple cider vinegar water, dish soap would safely remove the insects. It's also worth noting that the local paper did a big feature on little Miss Bobby earlier in the year for her efforts in catching the lantern flies. Turns out they are known to feed on and destroy trees and plants.
Black advocates are calling on Democrats to deliver on promises that they made to black voters on the midterm campaign trail if they want to keep their support for the 2024 presidential election. The concern is that Democratic enthusiasm and engagement with key voting blocs could diminish until the next election cycle ramps up. Now, last week's election brought a wave of relief for Democrats, who managed to win control of the Senate with 50 votes. 50 seats compared to the Republicans' 49 seats. Now, Democrats have a chance to win one more seat if Senator Raphael Warnock wins re-election in a December 6th runoff against GOP Senate candidate Herschel Walker.
And speaking of Herschel Walker, he's just not going away. Oh no, it's an unprecedented fundraising milestone, as Georgia GOP Senate candidate Herschel Walker has raised more than $3 million on his first day of campaigning for the upcoming runoff election. This all comes following the close call results between him and Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock. Reports show that the former University of Georgia running back brought in another $1 million just last Thursday the second day of that particular campaign. Neither candidate reached the 50% threshold for victory in last week's midterm elections.
Well, speaking of elections, former First Lady Michelle Obama is praising President Biden, but is stopping short of endorsing a 2024 re-election bid. Asked in a 2020 interview with ABC's Robin Roberts whether she hoped Biden would run again, Obama said, quote, I'll have to see. The 79-year-old president has faced low approval ratings, concerns about his age, and polls indicating that many Americans don't want him to make another White House bid. But Biden has said he intends to run again. So perhaps the newly captured momentum among Democrats following the midterm election will cause more voters to give the prospect of a Biden second term a second thought.
Oh, wow. Your thoughts on this? You are our in-house political pundit here.
I think there's still, there's still so much more to consider. 2 years in politics is an eternity.
Yes.
Who knows where we're going to be as a country in a couple years, but a lot of people did not expect Biden and the Democrats to perform as well for the midterm elections. And people didn't expect him to perform well in the 2020 election against Trump. And so I think Biden, he continues to benefit from this idea that he is not as competitive as he actually turns out to be.
Back to the First Lady, I love how she, doesn't know just yet how much skin she wants in this game, if at all. I love the fact that she is still chilling. She's knitting, podcasts, she's getting ready for the Obama Center. She is spending time in Martha's Vineyard, darling. So
on tour, on a big book tour.
She's authoring these incredible books. So I like the easy breezy of it all. Maybe, maybe not. I love it.
Well, very much like Michelle Obama, I think a lot of people are saying don't underestimate Joe Biden. So we'll just have to see.
We will have to see. All right. The House committee investigating the January 6, 2021 attack on the Capitol says they'll have to see or consider next steps after former President Trump failed to appear for his Monday deposition following a subpoena that came last month. Now, last week, Trump filed a lawsuit challenging that subpoena that accuses him of hiding after he was told to appear for testimony on Monday. Now, it is unclear if the committee will move to hold Trump in contempt of Congress while Democrats remain in control during the lame duck season, or if the Department of Justice will pursue the recommendation.
The Senate is set to vote this week on a bill to address the Supreme Court's same-sex marriage protections after a bipartisan group of senators unveiled a deal this week, signaling that they believe they have the votes to get past a filibuster and move the measure to President Biden's desk. Now, the first vote on this matter is scheduled for tomorrow. The New York Democrats' move indicates that the updated bill has the support of 10 Senate Republicans. That's a whole 10. Senate Republicans that are needed in order to move this forward. The new deal updates language from before the election and includes provisions to satisfy GOP members on religious liberty-related issues.
Well, this isn't good news, as the Biden administration is shutting down the website where Americans like you and me with student loans sign up for debt forgiveness. Now, the suspension comes after a federal judge in Texas rejected the executive action to cancel tens of thousands of dollars for millions of folks, ruling that the president overstepped his authority by not including Congress in this process. Now, the program was already on hold as 6 states filed challenges. The White House, of course, has plans to appeal.
One black female former detective is sounding the alarm on a decades-old 9/11 scam. Congress created a $20 billion victim compensation fund to provide support for any individual killed or suffered physical harm due to the attacks. Now, Joanne Brown, a former NYPD detective, says that court cases regularly emerge showing how white victims were able to successfully seek legal remedy and recovery for lawyers' misdeeds in representing information. She alleges her lawyers illegally misappropriated from her victim compensation claim, making her one of the many African-American 9/11 victims whose legal attempts have failed to recover over $5 million in aid.
And still ahead, it's being called the largest strike in U.S. history.
That's right. We'll tell you how many teaching assistants, researchers, and graders are on the front lines fighting for equality.